Okay, I can't believe that just happened. What on earth? The Vegas Golden Knights win off a buzzer beater goal that gets put into the back of the net by Leon Draisaitl in the year 2025. Like I have no other way to. Oh boy. I promise I'm laughing because I am in utter disbelief that that just happened. I'm not laughing at Edmonton. I am laughing at the absurdity of this situation. I would be laughing if it happened inversely, and I would also be probably not crying. I want to address a couple of different things before we jump into this game. Edmonton, specifically fans. Hi, how are you doing? I'm sorry. Kind of, like I'm not at all. I'm so happy Vegas won. I really empathize with the heartbreak that you must be going through and thinking that, you know, McDavid, your captain, the #1 player in the world, ties up a game that would give you guys a 3-0 series lead, commanding, almost unbeatable series lead, especially with, you know, your team. And in your home barn, that the Terror Dome, I guess is what you're calling it. I don't get it, but hey, Rogers Place was loud, great. I would expect that out of Edmonton fans, and so hey, that was a really cool environment. I would love to see a game there live. It would be hopefully a Vegas game, but regardless. Victory Flamingo is a tradition for the Vegas Golden Knights. Anyway, there have been comments about crying about the penalty, which is just a gatekeeping response. Seriously, watch the Hockey Guy's video about that. He goes into bigger depth about it. But like, no, I've cried in my life 3 times about the sport of hockey. None of them have been when I've blocked a shot because, even though like I have nerve damage in my knee from that. One of them is from when Vegas traded Fleury, because favorite player since 2009, my hometown team, favorite player of all time. I named my son after him, his middle name, and they traded him. I cried that day. I cried when we won the cup, the day we won the cup. The dying seconds, I burst into tears. And you know, I would expect there are some Edmonton fans that are also like that, so like no judgment please. And number 3, like a week and a half ago when the Vegas Golden Knights ended Marc-Andre Fleury's career, essentially, with his last game. And those are the 3 times I've cried in hockey. I will not cry. Edmonton could have swept us, and please, before this game was thinking not Edmonton, because y'all would, understandably, because there's a rivalry, right? Dunk on that, the first team to ever sweep Vegas, like whatever. So I was pleading for not that, especially when you guys went up 2-0. Oh man, I was a ball of just like, not nerves, but like, but before I get further into that, the reason I want to address any of this is because of the situations that have nothing to do with this game. It's about last game. Pickard getting hurt, injured. I said in my last video, I hope he's okay, and I hope that today's game was precautionary and that, you know, let's just give him time so that he can feel 100%, not even dress him, so that he's good to go. He's day to day. He played well after he got hurt with his leg. And I think he would have made a difference tonight. Unfortunately for you guys, not unfortunately for me, but you know. And that's not to say that Stuart Skinner played bad, but the goals that he allowed, especially that first one especially, which is the other part of what I wanted to talk about as far as like player wise. Nick Waugh didn't get suspended, which personally, Vegas fan, I disagree with. I think he should have at least, and I said this earlier, at least gotten 2 games, but when I commented that on the Hockey Guys channel, there were a bunch of comments that were like, maybe in the regular season, but in the playoffs, especially because he has no history, and it didn't look like he was like super like ill intent. It just seemed like he just made the dumbest decision, and it was a dirty play, but like I don't think he like there's a difference between like headhunting and I think what happened in that situation. And I totally admit I am biased, and I acknowledge that. I'm not trying to be unbiased. I'm a Vegas fan making a channel that is mostly about Vegas, their hockey, with all of my skits being kind of Vegas centric. Because I know the most about this team, I can make better content and quality content for that anyway. But admitting all that bias, all of them were saying like one game because playoffs, even though that kind of logic doesn't make sense to me still either way, even though playoff games hold more weight. And so like, yes, but also like safety, I don't know. If you're cheering that Mark Stone got hurt because you don't like the guy or you don't like Vegas, you're, you can be a fan however you want. That's a fanatic, and I've said that for years. But you as a person are not as decent. I despise Evander Kane. There's not many other people on the Oilers team that I despise. I kind of despise Corey Perry, but he's an example of someone that if he was on my team, I would enjoy. Evander Kane, I wouldn't enjoy if he was on my team. I would actively avoid talking about him simply because of the history between him and Vegas, him going into debt with the casinos and calling out specifically, like he has a rivalry with Vegas that I don't think any Vegas person would ever get over. I don't think he would actually willingly go to Vegas. But whatever. When he got his wrist sliced open by Pat Maroon's skate, I absolutely genuinely hope that he would recover, and that he would be able to play a normal career and have a normal life after that. And thankfully he put in the work, so it's not really he was able to, right? And I don't, wishing injury upon another player just because you don't like them or don't like the team they're playing for is just despicable behavior. I'm sorry, I'm not, but that's the Canadian part coming out. I lived in Canada for a couple of years. So yeah, there's no US-Canada rivalry. I love the sovereign nation. I lived in, it was Vancouver, so you might not like that part, but I just want civility, right? And wishing injury upon another player is not civil. And like I said, the irony, I don't, like, you guys are not gonna like this, that Pickard got injured, stayed in, and Waugh wasn't suspended and scored that first goal against Skinner, who would not be playing if Pickard didn't get injured. Yeah, no, I understand why that would be super frustrating. And I agree, especially, like, I think icings as well, horrid. Penalty, the refs have been horrid all playoffs. 100%, I think every single hockey fan can agree on that. And this is the second time Vegas has ever gotten a call go their way. No, calls go against teams all the time. The second major way, not a major, back to 2019. I guess in a playoff atmosphere, in a deciding game that would make a huge difference in the series, yeah. But again, I'm not blaming the refs. Vegas needs to play well enough that that's not even a factor. Same with Edmonton. They need to play well enough that it's not a factor whether or not the refs can influence the game like that. And quite frankly, Vegas on game 2 did not. And tonight, Edmonton did not, even though I don't really think, there was some weird ticky-tack stuff and some non-calls on both sides. But tonight I feel like was the most fair, even between all three of the games so far played. But McNabb coming in after him being injured, I see the irony and how that would be very frustrating for you guys. McNabb is a difference maker, and I don't want, he's not, I don't think he's gonna be completely healthy. He could be, but we hear reports every single summer about what surgeries players that were playing in the playoffs go through after they get eliminated or they win, because players play hurt all the time. And so thinking that people are faking it, also red flag. You cannot know that. You literally cannot know that unless you are a doctor and are working with that person face to face, being able to see their anatomy. And you don't have that access. I can't confidently say that he's not healthy. But at the same time, we speculating about that and declaring that that they are or are not is just asinine. Get that out of here. I'm literally talking about specifically comments that were in my last video. which thank you guys for the support, I guess, and talking about how you were hoping that McNabb is okay. I hope that stays true right now. But just like how for me, I hope Pickard comes back in Game 4 and is fine. I hope he's healthy. It gives you guys a better chance. And again, hockey fan first. And so if the hockey is good, even if Vegas loses, like it's not the end of the world. I am extremely disappointed because my fandom is up there with my love for hockey. But as I'm sure it is with you guys, right? But again, refs are not rigging games for a team. They might have consequences for bad decisions, but that isn't them choosing to ignore one team. Refs are not screwing any team out of a series. Vegas is not the dirtiest team in the league. I'm sorry if you feel that way, but like, no. You see Florida, right? I think that there are sometimes reckless plays that happen that aren't dirty. Like Arvidsson's trip, I would say that is, like, I don't want him to get injured either. I don't want any headhunting. This isn't, I don't understand that aspect. That's very barbaric, and it's just, I don't think that belongs in today's hockey. Like, I know 80s hockey, great and all for its time period, but like, we're 40 years past that. Let's move on. That being said, like McDavid and Draisaitl, last game, Game 2, they completely deserved that they what a play to go past Eichel that way. He was gassed. And again, I'm flip-flopping. Anyway, let's move on past that. There's a couple, I don't get the animosity and the people that just comment without even watching any of the video, and it's evident that they don't, because I literally talk about every single one of the points as if, and they're like, you're delusional because all this, and I'm like, I addressed all of this, I said all of this, I don't know why you're explaining it to me. This is my channel and I can do whatever I want. And I guess, like, it's the internet, you guys can do whatever you want to, but hiding behind anonymity and just saying vile stuff, like, guys, grow up. It's just sad. And it's not all Oilers fans either. Like, I would say it was half and half. And the thing that got the most support, other than trying to troll me about me complaining about LTIR, which I wasn't actually doing, I was complaining about the fan reactions to LTIR and how it's completely different one way or another, and it's a double standard when it comes to Vegas. And I understand the skepticism a little bit more, but I know that I talk fast. It's my brain wants words to come out of my mouth faster than my mouth is able to do it, and I also have had like 3 or 4 concussions, and only 2 of them have been from hockey. One was from a car wash. That's a story for another time. But the point is I used to talk faster than this, and I know it's a turnoff for some people as far as like watching content, but I get too excited and ramped up emotionally about it that it distresses my newborn. She hears me talk about hockey, the way that I get with it, and it just stresses her out. My heart rate continues to go up, and you know, it's great. So wrapping up everything before I talk about this game, I hope Pickard's okay, and that it was just precautionary, that he comes back for Game 4, and that we have a competitive series from here on out. That, of course, there's gonna be the immature, uncivilized people that just troll in both fan bases. I'm not saying that Vegas is completely clean of this, but I'm hoping that in my channel, in my comment section with you guys, that we can have a safe space to, even if we disagree, just be able to talk about the game and be productive with it, you know? And gain greater understanding of one another's perspectives to the point where even if we disagree, we can respect the other person. Yeah, that's my goal. And even though Vegas outplayed Edmonton in Game 2 and Game 3, Edmonton, you're in it the entire time. I swear you will not go away. It is insane how able you are to just capitalize on the most ridiculous chances. And of course, in last game I was complaining about Adin Hill. I think he was solid tonight. This is probably his best game of the series, which is not great. He didn't see a lot of action tonight. And I think you guys are gonna be a little bit upset by the goalie interference call, but like, he was trying to track the puck and his head was like, he can't see out of the back of his head. He had no idea Hyman was coming that way, right? So I think it was incidental. I don't know if it was a penalty. Like, we can argue about that, but I understand why it was called. Whether or not that's actually a penalty, like it just is up to subjectivity, which is terrible because the refs will use it however they see fit in the moment. Game managers and cardio merchants. Every fan, even if they hate each other, all agree that the refs just suck, right? Like, they don't do their job at all well enough for a league as big as the NHL. Department of Player Safety too. Anyway. Edmonton goes up 2-0 because of Corey frickin' Perry. And I don't know if you guys have the app, the NHL Fantasy Stars app. It's a game that you like can, I don't know, free to play, but like, I thought it was fun. I have Corey Perry, a Corey Perry card, and I didn't put him in because I was like, goodwill. I put Colson in instead. Terrible decision on my part because Corey Perry scores twice, and it's a great play from the top line, Draisaitl, McDavid, and Perry. And it's a beautiful feed from Draisaitl while he's pinned up against the boards to get into the zone. McDavid drops it off to the trailer, Perry blasts it, and it goes in, and it's 1-0 Oil. And then the Oil go on to the power play, and for the first time in this series are able to actually execute on it. My friend, who doesn't even follow hockey, just texted me saying, wow, what a buzzer beater. That, man. Bouchard, who I did say in Game 1's video is overrated in my opinion. Please pay him over $10 million a year. He is a playoff point machine. I do think he benefits greatly by playing with the best players in the world, McDavid and Draisaitl. Thank you, Draisaitl, for that goal. Anyway, I still can't believe that happened. As much as I'm sure you guys also can't believe that happened. But Bouchard, he flings one on, and it's tipped by Perry in, and it's a power play goal. And I'm not trying to disregard Bouchard's talents. If he gave half of an effort more defensively, he would definitely be worth that. He is just, and I know he steps up his game in the playoffs, but the amount of times that I see him just standing completely straight up, like I don't get it. And he's got a wicked hard shot. And so, you know, good for that. If he's able to clean up any of that, then yeah, anyway. I keep saying that I'm moving on and then keep having other thoughts that bring me back to it, but I do think that if I were to be playing on the Oil, that I would, in his spot, be able to pick up half the amount of points that he does because of everything that McDavid and Draisaitl do, but I don't know. They scored the first one, right? Perry. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, Vegas scored the first goal in the last 2 games and they lost. So, you know, maybe this is a good sign, and Perry scored again, and I was like, please be a good sign. Had a hard time. I just got this pent up, not like anger, just like frustration that this is how the series is going, because I feel like Vegas is better than this because they played better than this and they just aren't able to do anything, and then they score to bring it back in. And this is the Nick Waugh goal, which, you know, if you think he should have been suspended like I do, then you're probably pissed that he was even in this situation to begin with. But also, I really do think any right shot forward on Vegas probably is able to do the same thing, because Stu Skinner, I don't know what he was doing. He like grabs the puck and like pulls in, and it plops down in front of him, and Waugh just picks up the trash and puts it behind him, and it's 2-1. And then less than a minute later, Reilly Smith drives straight up through Podkolzin and Victor Arvidsson. 2-on-1, they both collapsed in on him, and he gets through it, McDavid-esque. And that's to point out that like McDavid is fantastic, but that looked like stuff McDavid does all the time, and he gets through and buries it 5-hole on Skinner, and it's a tie game just like that. And that's got to be super deflating. You got to be thinking, man, Stu Skinner, what on earth are you doing? Even though I think he picks up his game after this point. And it's the masculine urge to say we're back 20 minutes after saying it's completely over. 100%. I was such a range of emotions from you know, going down 2-0 to being tied going into the second period. Mark Stone got injured. I don't know what it is. He played 3 shifts after what the video was circulating about him falling and his head colliding with Perry's shin, which completely incidental, 100% not on Perry. Like, I don't know, like Stone just lost an edge, and that's an extremely unfortunate incident. He still had 3 shifts after that, and it looked like Perry's skate might have gone, it's really reminiscent of Kane's injury, but we don't know what happened. Concussion spot, like I genuinely have no idea. And again, if you're rooting for him to be injured still, like, not nice of you, but I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. It's just going to think less of you for it. But hopefully he hasn't been able to produce offensively the way that he has in years past, and I think that's because of all the injuries, legitimate injuries that he's sustained in the last couple of years, but also his defensive abilities and ability to take away the puck so easily. I remember there was this call in the 2019 playoff series, Game 7 against the Sharks, where it was he could steal the hubcaps off of a moving car. It was very reminiscent of like Pavel Datsyuk, his ability to defensively take away stuff at his prime. Mark Stone's prime was reminiscent of what Pavel Datsyuk could do on a daily basis. But to lose him in general for the series is really bad for Vegas. But also in this game is terrible, especially because it's in the first and you have to go 2 full periods in Edmonton's barn where Knobloch is able to have the last change and with 11 forwards against some of the fastest skaters in the league. Nightmare situation for Vegas, honestly. But despite all of that, Vegas goes into the third up 3-2. Vegas hems in the Oil, and Stu Skinner stands on his head to make 3 at least grade A saves. And then right as soon as the puck gets out, Vegas comes in, catch the Oil on a terrible line change, and Karlsson passes it over to Hanifin. Hanifin gets, I can't remember the defenseman, to bite on the pass, because what else are you going to do? He passes it back over to Karlsson, who one-times it past Skinner to make it a 3-2 Vegas game going into the third period. And there were a couple of other chances that Vegas probably should have buried. Hertl whiffed on a terrible whiff. Hertl, I don't know what happened. His offensive touch is also weird. I think he might be injured. I don't know what's going on with Hertl. And Hertl falling onto picks, I'll talk about that after the rest of this game. The third period had terrible whistles for icing, 100%. And in against McDavid, there was the one where he definitely beat it and they dropped it center ice, acknowledging that it was their fault. I wish they would be so much slower on the whistles for this, because they would let it play out and see what happened. It is just more fun hockey, right? And I was upset by that, and I'm a Vegas fan, and McDavid's a fantastic player who, could score. He could, right? Edmonton really picks up their game. They're not completely dominating. Vegas is still getting their chances where they're in the offensive zone, getting to zone time and getting not great shots on Skinner, but decent enough that challenging him, right? And keeping him alert. But it's Connor McDavid with 3 minutes left to tie the game, and the roof about blows off. Not nearly as bad as it would for an overtime game winning goal, but to tie the goal with that much time left, yeah, that's expected. Watching the rest of this, and I'm just all right, guess we're going for another overtime game. Yikes, I'm gonna be up late again. I sit down because there's less than 30 seconds left, and I go to change my baby's diaper to put her down, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see Karlsson enter the zone. And there's 7 seconds left. I'm there's no way. And then for some reason, it seemed in that moment, the time just slowed down. And Vegas, he drops it off, gets it to Reilly Smith, who streams into the zone, does not give up. He didn't hear the whistle there because there was none, and fought in every single last second of that shift. Gets around the defense, and Skinner comes way out of his net. I have no idea what he was doing in that situation. Maybe he thought because there's so little time left, he was fine to do it if he could just attack the puck quickly. Terrible decision, because he just flings it on, and it's gonna miss. It's going to go through the crease. But Leon Draisaitl does nothing but score, right? Gets his stick in front and goes off and in with 0.4 seconds left in the third period for Reilly Smith to give the Golden Knights a 4-3 lead. Technically Reilly Smith's goal, but Leon Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl has now scored against all 32 NHL teams from Courtney Theriault. I am terrible at French. Reilly Smith, what a trade deadline pickup for the Vegas Golden Knights, right? It's the third latest regulation game winner in playoff history. Number 1, Nazem Kadri from August 2020 with 0.1. And then UC Jokinen, Carolina in 2009 with 0.2. I would be very frustrated if I was an Oil fan, because again, the longer that this game went on, the worse it would be for Vegas, because they're only playing with 11 forwards, and the forward that they're missing is a minute muncher that plays in all scenarios: power play, penalty kill, and having the captain of the team not there is just not beneficial in so many different ways. But yeah, Vegas is, I would say, fortunate, but we did outplay Edmonton for a good chunk of this game, and so that's 2 of the 3 games that Vegas has outplayed Edmonton, but Edmonton still has a 2-1 lead. And if we can play how we did this game on Monday, who knows? Again, the Vegas Golden Knights went down 0-2 to the Colorado Avalanche, won 4 straight to win the series in 6. Last year, in 2024, Vegas won 2 games on the road and then went home and lost to Dallas 2 in a row to have the series tied at 2 going back to Dallas. But Dallas had won 2 in a row on the road. They won another one, and then Vegas won game 6 to then eventually lose in 7. The Oil could win the next 2 games and win in 5. The Vegas could win 3 straight. Either of those games, like, it's, I would see it as just whatever. Like, the way that these teams play each other is just fun, right? If you have 0 emotional investment in either of these teams' success, like, you gotta be eating good tonight, right? But apparently most of the league hates both of our franchises. So there was that meme where it was like the Oilers down 0-2. It's the 2 sides of the train, and it's like super depressed. And then the Vegas is, or the Oilers are up 2-0, and then the Vegas are down 0-2, and it's super happy with the rainbows and stuff. Yeah, no, our most of the league hates our 2 franchises, eh? But hey, if we can be civil, if we can respect each other and cheer on our team to defeat the other one and rejoice. Seriously, like, there was one person that said, I feel bad about the win from game 2. Don't do that. Like, I appreciate, but I don't want, like, pity. I want, like, respect and, like, empathy, but not pity. And enjoy your win. Like, you don't want to win that way, but it felt good to be up 2-0, right? And just like that's how it is. Like, I feel terrible that Pickard is out, and I hope that he returns. But am I glad that Stuart Skinner played tonight? A little bit. And I don't want to dunk on him. I'm sure he's fantastic. He was your starter throughout the regular season, lost his job because he just could not, maybe it's because of his injury from the middle of the season, right? That he just can't seem to figure it out. But I think he played solid tonight, just it wasn't good enough, and Hill beat him on the other end of the ice. But that's game 3. I'm gonna talk one more thing before I close about the last game with the my perspective on the Hertl and Pickard incident, because from me looking at it from the one angle that is showing, and I want to say this again, non-calls don't get video replay. Penalty calls by the TNT broadcast didn't get video replay. So Petro getting hit in the face by Kane in the first to draw the power, I didn't see a replay of that. I have no idea. Petro might have sold it. I have no idea. Based on the way that he was acting afterwards, like, I think Kane made contact with his head, but I have no idea how bad of a call that actually is, because they didn't show anything. And then there was the penalty on Whitecloud that against McDavid, I think, that they didn't show a replay. I cannot objectively talk about it because I have no idea, because the replay system, they showed almost goals instead of the penalty that happened literally right before, which is the reason that there's a whistle and they're going to commercial break. So you want to talk about those? Sure. I genuinely can't add anything to a discussion because I cannot watch it again. But the thing that I was able to watch again is that incident between Pickard and Hertl. And again, I hope Pickard's okay, but I genuinely don't think that Hertl really did anything malicious or technically anything wrong. Because what I see, and I, again, admit my bias, but like I'm trying to disregard it, even though that's impossible, to look at this as if I were like trying to be in your shoes. Hertl's skate comes into contact with Pickard's skate just outside of the crease. It is close, but it's just outside, and you can see, and I've skated, I played hockey for like 5 years. It's not, I'm a terrible skater, but I also played goalie for a little bit. And my skate, like Hertl's skate comes into contact with Pickard's skate, and it turns it, because that's what, like, he's back skating, his skate comes into contact, it's just outside of the crease. So it's technically legal for Hertl to be there. and it throws him off balance enough that Kulak's shove, which is light, I'm not trying to say it was like a heavy one, but he definitely pushes Hertl, was enough that I don't see how Hertl could have avoided falling onto Skinner or Pickard. If there's another angle that shows differently, okay, please, send it to me on Twitter. I saw the one. I saw where, in my opinion, the contact was made outside of the crease, and I saw the shove, and you can see his skate blade turn. And yes, these are world-class skaters, the best to lace him up on the ice right now. Based on physics of ice skating and seeing, I just genuinely don't see how you could see that as someone trying to hurt Pickard. Pickard was playing great. And the whole mentality of if I was on their team, I'd also want to take out our best player. I guess from a competitive standpoint, I can understand that a little bit, but at the same time, I'm one of those people that I cannot wish injury upon any player in the league. So I know some people are like that, and Hertl is not one of them. In my opinion, I would think that if he was on San Jose, despite the video of him smashing his stick and almost chopping off the equipment manager's ear, that was terrible look. But that's just the way I see it. But that's gonna be it for this video for round 2, game 3's nightly review. Thank you so much for watching. It feels so good to be down 2-1 instead of 3-0. And we'll see you Monday in Edmonton again. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.